Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Alex and I'm software engineer. And today we're gonna explore Cursor IDE, an AI-powered development tool that helps developers write, maintain, and debug code faster. This video will be useful for people who want to understand how AI tools can boost your productivity, how it helps teams write cleaner, maintainable code, and how it fits to modern software engineering workflows. Before we deep dive into the coding, let's talk briefly about what is Cursor IDE. Cursor IDE is an AI-assisted coding environment based on familiar Visual Studio Code that enhances your workflow by providing AI-powered code suggestion, code generation, automated refactoring, debugging, multi-language support, and more features which you can imagine. I've been testing Cursor for a while, and today I'll show you how it performs when building and refactoring and debugging simple Node.js CRUD application from scratch. Before we start developing our application, let's go through our Cursor IDE interface. So as you see, it's very similar to Visual Studio Code, but with a little differences. On the right, you have AI panel, which contains chat, composer, and bug finder. Those three features I will show you later. Then we have a settings, which contains Visual Studio Code settings, Visual Studio Code settings. It's pretty familiar for people who used Visual Studio before, but also we have cursor settings. Here we can actually set up some rules for our project, global rules, something like instruction for our AI tool. We can enable disable privacy mode. We can choose our models which we want to use, and we can even put some API key for the models. So let's start by generating basic Node.js CRUD application with Express.js using Cursor AI. I prepared a small prompt for this, and we will use Composer. As you can see, Composer has two options, normal and agent. We will use agent, and later I will explain you why. As you can see, this prompt is small, but it should be working fine. So it started to generate package.json. We can already see what it's containing. Simple migrate script, start development script. We already have index.js. It's still not generated. All right, now we have it. As we can see, we have database connection. We already have orders route, 5 orders routes, create order, get all orders, get order by ID, update order, and delete order. And we integration script to create our database. It's a package, but we also have a Docker file, and our Docker compose contains of two services. One is for database, another for our application running in has document, which is very great. Normally, to set up this kind of application, I would spend at least 30 minutes to 1 hour. And here we can see Cursor did it in less than 1 minute. We click accept all. Now this all is accepted. Great. But what I want to do, I want to change our JavaScript to TypeScript. So for that, I also prepared small prompt. I want to convert it to TypeScript, and I want to delete JS files. Let's see what we can do with that. As we can see, it's already deleting some files. Yes, it's deleted both files. What I also want to mention, you can restore to any checkpoint which Cursor saved. So you can even restore to the first checkpoint when we never had any code, which actually very good. So you don't have to worry if Cursor breaks anything. You can always roll back to any of your changes. Okay, so it's generated some types already. No, it's still empty, but here we have it. Let's wait a little bit. Great, so we have our index. If you look at it carefully, you see that it's also running linter to check for the errors. This is actually what this agent is for. If we use normal style, normal composer, it will not run any linter, it will just generate files. Let's click accept all. Yeah, and we can see that we don't have packages installed. We can ask Cursor, please install packages. So everything will work smoothly. Yes, it's already running. We can actually see the terminal. We can pop it out. As you can see, it's also fixing some bugs. But somehow npm install didn't work out. Let's stop it a little bit. Let's wait for our installation. Great, so everything is installed. We don't have any errors anymore. So now we can ask actually to test. Please test our application with CRUD. Yes, let's try it out. We need to check whether it's working at all. So first, let's start our application. It's running now. Let's test it. Yeah, we can see the failure because I started it myself. Let's retry it. I guess we went too far. Let's roll back. Here we can actually edit our previous command and roll back to that state. As you can see, it's starting application. And it's even testing it. We can also test it. So we already have order created in our database. And yes, all our roads tested. Great. So as we can see, we have working application. We created it in a few minutes. It's CRUD application written in TypeScript, which can create orders with price, with name, and with email. What I'm going to do next, I want to refactor this application because, as you can see, it's not very clean. Everything in index, no separation layers, not a clean code. So let's ask our agent to refactor this application. So we can see it's creating domain layer, repository, service, validation service, some folders created already. Let's close our process. I don't need it right now. Let's accept everything and see what do we have. So we have Postgres order repository, and we have order repository interface. We have some validation service, and we have application service. Great. As you can see, it's refactored. Everything is working fine. It created some repository layer, service layer, validation, but we still have some part of code which I actually don't like. Let's refactor index. And let's extract everything to controllers so our roads are clean. Now we have good structure. As you can see, we have router. Router has 4 or 5 roads, and we have controller. Controller contains all the methods we need with some bugs actually, which we fix later, but we have infrastructure layer, application layer, and domain layer. Let's fix our bug. We can do it like this. We can just hover on it and we will see the button fixing chat, fixing composer. We use composer for that. And as we can see, we have some message which passed from our bug and composer started to fix it. Yes, so now everything working fine. Great. What I'm gonna show you next is how to fix bugs in feature branches. Let's imagine this our final application is working and we want to commit it. Let's initialize our Git. Let's add everything. And then let's create new branch, feature branch, to actually generate some bugs. What I'm gonna do next, I'm gonna produce bug, which then I will ask our cursor to find. Let's look at our order service, for example, or maybe even repository. Let's see, let's pass here, for example, different variables. So now apparently this update will not work as it should. Now let's go to bug finder and try to find new bug. It says it's experimental feature, but I already tested it before. It works fine. What we need to do first, we need to set our default branch. And now we can actually run it. We can run it for free or for money. I never tried to run it for money because I'm not sure whether I spent my money or is it just some random number. So let's run it for free. Great, so Cursor found our bug. It actually highlighted it, and as you can see that SQL query incorrectly uses variable as placeholder, and this causes query to use product name value instead actual order ID. Now let's fix it in Composer. Yes, as you can see, it is fixed. It is fixed, and actually now it should work fine. Now let's maybe generate some unit test. Which is also crucial for developers. I know developers don't like to write unit tests, so this is where our cursor will help us a lot. So we added some packages, jest package, types jest, and test jest needed to run unit test with TypeScript. We still have errors, but apparently we need to run npm install. Yes, cursor suggested to run it. Let's run it. Great, and now let's see, we still have errors. Maybe we restart our linter. Yes, we don't have errors, but we have here some errors. Let's fix it. Also with Composer, I don't want to deep dive into the code. I just want it to be fixed. So now it's fixed. We have our test command. Let's run some tests. Yeah, and you see all tests are passed. Great. So as you can see, in few minutes we generated CRUD application, refactored it with clean code and clean architecture principles, and even generated some tests and even fixed some bug. My final thoughts on Cursor. Cursor speed ups projects development and refactoring a lot. I use it in my daily work and it's super great for me. I used other tools like ChatGPT and GitHub Copilot before. Also, I used Amazon Q, but currently Cursor is best tool for me for development and refactoring, debugging, writing tests, even writing some documentation. So, is Cursor IDE is a game changer for software development? Absolutely. It's not replacement for developers, but it's powerful tools that can significantly improve your productivity. If you're a developer, product manager, project manager, business analyst, you can use this tool to create, develop, maintain small application, MVC, POC, whatever you like. So thanks for watching. If you would found this video helpful, give it a like, subscribe, and let me know which AI tool you use for your day-to-day